Namaste. My name is Amish Tripathi, and that's my sister Bhavna Didi. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita series. Didi, today we will discuss birth, death, and rebirth. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharye rute na tvam shochitam arhasi.
Death is certain for one who is born, and rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore, you should not lament over the inevitable.
There's no fear of death in the Dharmic way.
In the pagan way as well, Amish, the ancient Greeks had twin gods. They were twin brothers again, Hypnos and Thanatos.
Thanatos is different from Thanos. You know who Thanos was, no? Avengers. Different from Thanos.
Very different.
Very different.
Hypnos and Thanatos. Hypnos was the god of sleep. This sleep was called the small death. And Hypnos was very calm, very gentle, a sweet god. His elder brother, Thanatos, was the god of death. And sometimes Hypnos and Thanatos, they worked together. So you died in your sleep, which I thought was a wonderful way to go, till I read the book on death by Sadhguru. And he said it's a horrible way to die in your sleep, because one should die with awareness and stillness, embracing the possibility, the possibilities of the long sleep, the god of Thanatos.
Right? Because in the modern day, just speaking about death is considered like, अरे अपशगुन होता है, इसके बारे में बात नहीं करना है. But that's not the way our ancestors approached it. इतना fear नहीं था मृत्यु के बारे में, इतना डर नहीं था. We are all going to die. Contemplating on it might actually be good. And in fact, in our ancient way, ritual suicide in a way, or voluntarily giving up your
Atma
life.
Mrityu.
Yeah, Atma Mrityu.
Ichha Mrityu.
Yeah, or Ichha Mrityu was not considered a bad thing. In fact, I don't know how many of you know this, Lord Ram himself actually did Jal Samadhi. There's a ghat in Ayodhya called Guptara Ghat. Jal Samadhi essentially means, and he walked into the Saryu river, and that's how he gave up his mortal body. And the local traditions out there say that in the last moment, when Lord Ram was going underwater, he whispered one word, Sita, when he went underwater. Or Arjun in Mahabharata, when he was trying to avenge Abhimanyu, he said if he is not able to, he will walk into fire. Aajkal even the Jains, there's some Jains who still do Santara, which is actually voluntarily giving up food. And I know some Jains who told me, who know people, who've done Santara, and they say that it's almost like in those last few days when they're giving up food, their face starts glowing. They start becoming, it's almost like they're living in a more aware state. And is it ki, like the samurai used to, if you're going to die in any case, might as well make it a beautiful death. Embrace it rather than be afraid of it.
But there can be suffering too when one is moving towards death. And Dr. Eric Borges, my friend Dr. Eric Borges, very eminent Mumbai cardiologist, his current passion is palliative
Who had
care.
saved Papa's life as well.
Yes.
When Papa had his first heart attack,
Yes, that's true. And his current passion, Amish, is palliative care. He's set up a beautiful, hospice called Sukun Nile, the home of peace, where he helps the poor embrace death painlessly. Very beautiful, good work. Also, there is another aspect to death. One is, how do you die? How do you embrace death? The other is the people who've lost someone
Yeah.
who has gone to the other side. How do you deal with grief?
Mm.
That's another aspect of, very essential aspect of death, na? How do you deal with losing someone you love, the void, the emptiness? Grief has to be processed. It has to be channeled. It cannot and should not be suppressed. In the ancient, times, in fact, in villages, especially of Rajasthan, even today, you have Rudalis.
Yeah.
You know,
Come and cry.
women who visit homes where a death has happened, and they sort of induce crying. They trigger crying by coming and just शोक मनाते हैं. In my younger days, I used to think it was bewildering. I didn't understand this. It didn't seem authentic to me. Now I understand the wisdom of these ways of life, helping trigger tears. I'm a big advocate of crying.
Yeah, no, I
when
mean,
one confronts sadness, especially grief.
On those 2 terrible days, Manshuda and Papa, as is my wont, I didn't cry because I thought I have things to do, things to manage, and people to support. And, probably was not good. Maybe that's why I still have some unresolved grief. There is some wisdom in the ancient ways. But the thing also is that you shouldn't be afraid of death, but you shouldn't see death as an escape also. That is not good. Till you live magnificently, and when you have to die magnificently as well. Maybe that's what our ancestors taught us.
We live in times where we are facing possible immortality.
But much of this modern, there's this article I read of Manu Joseph. I don't know if you read that. He said just 2 generations ago, most Indians would die at home, surrounded by their loved ones. And most of them would probably not be unhappy. Today, he said, most Indians, particularly middle class and above, normally die in hospitals where it's cold, where they have needles stuck into them, they're surrounded by strangers because their loved ones can't be around. And Manu Joseph had written something very thoughtful in that article, that what is the worth of those few extra months? Are we just postponing death or extending life? Cold hospital mein, surrounded by strangers, uncomfortable. You can't go to the loo by yourself. So it happens to many people. Bed is full, all needles poked in everywhere. You're in pain. Is it better to just go at home? Because anyway, all of us have to die. There's no cancelling it. That is something perhaps that can be learned from what Lord Krishna told us in the Bhagavad Gita.
But in any case, on all the other days when one is alive, one may as well,
live well.
There's
this Charlie Brown Snoopy. There was a time when even cartoons had philosophies. And you'd share this thing with me. Charlie Brown says, someday we will all die, Snoopy. And Snoopy says, true. But on all other days, no. Enjoy all those other days as well.
So, today we are not dying.
Today we are not dying.
But who knows?
Not today. Nothing is happening to you. Not when I'm around. Thank you so much for joining this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit like and subscribe below this video so you can be notified when the next video launches. From Bhavna Didi and me, thank you. Jai Shri Krishna.